Press live again. Let's see here. All right, now we're live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the anime podcast for Outpost 1018. For the month of April. It was April, right? Yeah, it was April.
Yeah.
So for April, we watched the second season of Made in Abyss, which I am not going to pronounce. It's a Japanese word. It sure is, and I'm not going to pronounce it.
Just call it. Golden City.
I'll use the English translation of the title. That's on Mao. The Golden City of the Scorching Sun.
Yeah.
I think if you have your complaints, send your death threats in the comments below. And that'll be that. So if you haven't heard the premise of Made in Abyss, you live under a rock. And you also haven't seen our previous podcast on Made in Abyss. And you should watch that. Definitely watch that. Anyway, so in the second season of Made in Abyss, Rico has obtained a white whistle and has managed to get past the fifth layer and descend into the sixth layer to look at the mysteries below, which are completely uncharted because you cannot ascend from the sixth layer at all. And that's about it for the synopsis. We'll talk about the animation. I think one of the issues, and of course, I have to bring this up every time because they have to do this every time. They have to make anything that's not just a person walking around. They have to make that CGI. So a lot of the giant monsters and whatnot, the really big megafauna of the sixth layer are CGI, and so are the people in the sort of mysterious town that they enter. That's also CGI, or a lot of them are. And I think it's particularly egregious. Like, I always don't like them using CGI because I don't like how it looks. I think it's really bad. But in particular, like, it's really bad here in particular because they have if you've ever watched a Studio Ghibli movie, like if you've ever watched Laputa Castle in the Sky, which is an incredible movie, you should watch it. There's like a moment where they finally reveal the city of Laputa. And you just like see this incredible vista, and it's absolutely beautiful. And they kind of try to do the same thing in this, where they like reveal the wonders of the sixth layer in this like incredible vista. and it just doesn't have the same effect because it looks like you're looking at a vista of like really beautiful backgrounds and like these plastic blow up dolls of CGI crap on top of those backgrounds, and it's just like it just takes away from that reveal from that like childish wonder that you're supposed to be feasting your eyes upon.
Just to like, not to play like super contrarian. This is one of the only times I've actually enjoyed CGI in anime. For like a completely weird reason. Um, I think that like having that type of CGI where it feels displaced makes a lot of like the weird creatures kind of like stand out and like makes it more uncomfortable. Uh, this only works because the show is supposed to make you feel like uncomfortable at certain parts, but like slightly uncomfortable the entire time while you're still like in that mode, if that makes sense. So
I'm
like,
gonna be
go ahead.
I'm gonna be a little bit conflicted, but you have any idea how much cells actually cost? They're also incredibly time consuming. Maybe, maybe it would have worked in the 1990s, but in the early 2000s, however, a lot of people do this for cost cutting more than anything else regarding relying on CGI.
I mean, if you make that argument, what you're telling me is that I'm consuming cheap, cost-cutted crap.
Yeah. And I'm really only referring to I can't remember the character's name. It was the weird um like half horse thing. Like that they were
Oh,
that
that guy, the guy that like I could probably find
yeah. Um
his name, but the
Machikaja.
yeah, Machikaza. Like whenever he was leading them around the city, like that's like I know he's CGI, but like his weird presence felt so out of place, but like it fits still. So like there were moments like that where it's like, okay, this type of CGI is fine because it made it work even though it wasn't supposed to.
For the sake of the rest of the anime, we're gonna have you can call him Gaja too. That's so yeah. In the case of Gaja, at least it looks like a well, he looks well like all CGI. Mostly they rely on cell shading, which can be hit or miss depending on how you use it.
Yeah, like it wasn't like some of the CGI was bad, but other parts were like it's fine. Like in moments like that, it's fine. Um, it didn't bother me that much. And I think that things were always kind of out of place in this anime, like the characters being chibi-ish compared to like the amazing backgrounds that were drawn compared to like some of the weird CGI. Like nothing ever like fully fits in. It feels like there's like these three jarring things going on at the same time. And I think that while in other animes it's inexcusable, just because of how this world works, it kind of fits well. And at least like the CGI isn't like the worst thing I've seen.
I mean, I get that argument, but I don't think the CGI looks good at all. I think the lighting is very ill suited to the CGI because one thing one thing that like 3D artists will tell you is that a good model will look like shit in bad lighting, and a bad model will look good in good lighting.
Mhm.
And the lighting, because you know, the lighting has to be consistent with the 2D animation.
Mhm.
Um,
It always looks
and
off.
the lighting in the 2D animation is very low contrast and bright for most of this season.
Mhm.
And this is a common thing in modern anime in general. It is low contrast and bright animation or lighting, uh, where the color black bit like basically doesn't exist. Um, so so when you have that very flat and kind of almost pastel kind of lighting. Oh, I guess pastel is a coloring term,
Mhm.
but I can't think of a better term to describe what I mean. Um, the models will look like kind of like plastic toys. No matter how well you model them and how well you do the textures and how well you do the materials and how well you do the normal maps and whatnot,
Mhm.
the models will kind of look like plastic toys if you light them like that,
Mhm.
and they just have to light them like that because that's how the rest of the show is lit.
Yeah.
Is lit.
I think, and we should probably get off this topic soon, but like, I think the other thing is, whenever we talk about CGI and it's like terrible, um, we're usually talking about like a character and then we see them in CGI and then like how they look, it looks different, like it just the feel of the character and how they move is different, just everything is like a little bit off. Or we're talking about like the worst thing, like the bear. There was a new I don't know if you saw the one that I sent you guys where they just took some character's face and put him on a guy riding a tractor. Like
Funny thing about that, that was actually intentional. That was actually a
yeah,
parody more than
yeah.
anything else.
But that show also had another really bad CGI monster in it, and like there's bad CGI, and then there's like at least consistent. And the one thing I can say about Made in Abyss is like all of the characters that are CGI stay CGI and stay consistent with it. Um,
Yeah, one thing I can say is that like from memory, I can't like think of, like, maybe I'm wrong, but I can't think of like any time like any of the main characters were uh were portrayed in CGI.
mhm.
Whereas like a lot of series
Like
will
Chainsaw
like
Man, like that was the big issue, like that we saw with the animation.
yeah, they'll or like Goblin Slayer, they'll
Hmm.
have like some of the main characters like just like walking, and it'll just be CGI for no reason.
Yeah, something simple to animate, and they're just like, it's simple, like just make it CGI and just cut the corner and just
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, in this, like at least it's all consistent. It's like this character is in CGI, he's in CGI all the time. This character is in 2D, he's in 2D all the time. This like it, I have to applaud the fact that they didn't cut the corners. Um, they made
Well,
some characters that
they didn't
they
cut more
they
corners.
didn't make it worse. I can take
They- like the CGI is a corner cut in the
mhm,
first place.
yeah,
But they didn't cut more corners.
yeah,
They didn't uh they minimized their corner cutting.
yeah. So like I can we could sit here and argue about if this was good or not CGI wise, but like it, in this era, I'm saying it's passable compared to others. There's more outrageous things that people are doing,
Yeah,
and
I bring it up because I'm never willing to accept it.
yeah, and
Be like I want my animes to have the standard of quality of the car chase scene from Gunsmith Cats.
yeah,
That's what I want out of anime. Out of
And
well, at least the animation. I know not all anime are going to live up to that,
mhm,
but like I it's an ideal for me to like look at and compare other things to.
yeah,
and I thought that was the autistic one.
yeah. Eh,
Well,
but
we'll see about that once we once we start hearing about voice actors.
yeah. So outside of all the CGI, I, I I just really like how the show's animated. Um, like it's so
I
well done.
really
I love the
like.
bad. I I love this world in general, and like I love how weird it is. I love how creative that you have to be in it. All of like the weird scenes, the village, just everything. Like all of it's so well done. Um, and then the characters, like the characters in the village, and we'll get there about it, but like all of them being like that weird and crazy and like how they were moving around because all of them had these like different issues. It was just fun. Like I thought that like all of that was just really entertaining and neat. There was always something that your eye could like, be drawn to. So,
I really like the background work and just the aesthetic design in general
hmm
of the environments. Like I think that like really like that's why I even talked about Studio Ghibli in the first place, because this world is like it's like alien, but it's like also not. It kind of feels like the ruins of an ancient civilization that you might see in a Ghibli movie,
hmm
and the background work really reflects that in an incredible way.
yeah,
Um, you get the feeling that the explorers in the flashbacks are exploring something that is like 10 times more ancient than them, and it's done so well, and it's really beautiful. It's that's some of the best stuff about about the season's visuals.
Not
hmm
gonna lie, whoever comes up with um whoever comes up with the area designs deserves a fucking raise, especially when it came to Inum Yui's well, the village, but eventually becomes her.
hmm
Uh, um, I'm not really. I don't have much to talk about tonight, unfortunately, on that area regarding animation. But I will say some of these places look absolutely phenomenal to frame into a wall.
yeah. One more thing I do want to touch on. Like obviously, if you've if you're watching this, you've hopefully seen the first season. Um, the amount of gore is just great. Like I love how like they really sell it. Like it's this world is so whimsical, and then you know there's going to be something fucked up about to happen, and then whenever
Oh
there's fucked
yeah,
up things happen, it's just so visceral and so well done. Like it's I cannot applaud the show for making it you it makes you so drawn in by like everything going on, but you know that everything's about to get fucked in like the worst ways possible. And I love that about this show so much. And then whenever you get to those moments and like it just makes you sick, like um, I was really thinking about this, and we'll get into the like whenever we get into the plot about it.
They
Um,
really stepped up on the body horror. Holy
yeah,
shit!
but like yeah, like the fact is like I think this was way better than most horror animes, where it's like you
Sunshine, how's
know
it
that it's
going?
always going to be just yeah, you know it's always going to be
We,
like
we
terrible.
got a new participant.
Yeah. Okay.
You guys already started?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just getting done with the animation part
Yeah.
segment.
Yeah. Uh,
Gotcha.
okay. So what I was saying was like this show just it like compared to like like horror anime where it's like, oh, this is gross, this is disgusting, this is like, and you just sit in it the entire time, and it's like, well, now I'm just like used to it. This pulls you out of it so many times where you're like, I know that this is about to happen, but I have so much hope, and like it creates that hope and creates that whimsical world so well, and like there's all this great things, and then like whenever those things hit, it just hits so much better. And they
Yeah,
do it so
there's
well.
there's a particular rug pull um where like a character is like walking up a set of stairs, and then they just get they just like their
Melt.
body just gets
Oh,
melted and turned into like this horrific like freak
oh,
of nature.
Yeah.
oh! You mean? Oh yeah, you mean
Yeah.
Bueko? Yeah.
Yeah.
Back
Well,
when she gets the curse.
yeah. But like, yeah, we'll
Oh,
get there. We'll get there. But yeah, let's talk about the audio because I think we did nail everything about the visuals at least.
I don't remember the audio as well. Um, I actually watched all of Made in Abyss at the same time, and that was when we reviewed the first season. So, and I was too busy to
Yup.
rewatch season two, so I don't remember that much about the audio.
All right. I did go back and listen to some of the soundtrack. The soundtrack is amazing.
Kevin Penkin strikes again.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Exactly. Yeah, especially with especially when it comes to the orchestrals.
Yeah. The opening and closing theme were okay. The fact that they had a couple cool singers in there, if you know about like
I'll
some
be
of the
honest with you.
stuff.
I disagree. I actually like the outro a lot more than the intro.
Yeah. Like
Because Nathan Roy can do no wrong
yeah.
when it comes to how should I say this intros outros. Like these are the same people who sang the intro for Cautious Hero,
Mhm.
and that shit is a banger.
No, they were good. Like I'm not saying like the greatest things ever. It is a season 2 usually. Like
No, but it
they go
fits the
down.
atmosphere.
But
It
yeah,
fits the
it
atmosphere.
does. Yeah. So like, but like the orchestrals were like so much better. Um, a couple
Yeah,
of the
I can actually I can agree with that. That was
yeah. And then like a couple of the character sound effects were okay. The gory scenes were some were cheesy, some weren't. But for the most part, like a lot of like just like normal.
I didn't like the cheesy parts, but can't really complain.
Or
Yeah.
like when people get fucked by the curse, it's kind of like they it's kind of like somebody's mixing pudding or something like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah.
Uh,
There was a couple
Disgusting.
like
I understand they
bad
use
hits.
vegetables when it comes to Foley,
Yeah.
so just for that extra crunch. But the part that seals it is the birthing sounds. I'm gonna be honest here. Since we were talking about body horror, I should honestly say the parts that actually legit made me uncomfortable about season two were definitely the birthing sounds that Idum Yui was making. Trust me when I say it takes a special kind of person to pull this shit off.
Yeah, like that entire section, I'll say, with like the amount of crying, the amount of like yelling and screaming and everything during that. It was over the top. It was crazy. It really made you feel like what was going on, and like you could feel the weight of just like the entire um that entire section of that show. Like
Also, the
that full
fact that,
episode was just ugh.
dude, Misaki Kuno, her Japanese voice actress, calling McCray does those fucking vocal cords. Like, I was reading about how she went on over. I mean, she's also the voice of Iron Yui. Besides Faputa. Fun fact, her vocal cords gave out halfway through one of the episode recorded.
Seriously?
Yeah, she was crying, and they had to wait until her vocals got better to start recording again.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was brutal. Fun
They
fact,
should have just. They should. You know what would have been funny is they kept her like that, so it would have been more realistic. Because then the character's voice would be coarse from screaming.
I mean, girl who voices Hawk from Seven Deadly Sins, Cleve from Genshin Impact, and fucking Shiori from no Biori besides others. She has this trademark childish voice, and in this case, in the case of voicing Faputa, she went full psycho on this one. Like she, you know damn well that thing was gonna fucking murder you by just listening to it. But yeah, it takes absolute balls to go full out on those vocal cords like she did.
I just wanted to say I really liked Bone Druid's voice, but you know I've got a bias.
Yeah, of course. I mean, there's also but there's also the other characters that suffer like Ma, especially when it comes to the balancing. The balancing, that shit is unhinged. Like it sells the chill in spine. It's like the special kind of justice system they have over there. And the way she was crying, it was yeah. I mean, that pink creature that picks up Rico's pet, and then I'll be honest, tops regarding sounds. It would say I would say when when she hugs Mania to the point that her anus starts prolapsing.
Hey, can I ask
Legit.
something?
Yeah.
Sound and animation aside, real quick. Do you guys think the villagers deserve what they got? Because I kind of think they did.
Yeah.
Mm,
We'll get into that when we get into the story, but yeah, they definitely did.
Some, not all, some.
No.
But let's let's talk about the openings and endings. What do you guys
Opening was okay. I have a really bad habit of skipping endings, but I mean, I guess the ending was all right, but opening was okay. I'm kind of since it's not my kind of music. I was kind of like,
They were
To be honest-
serviceable.
To be honest, I actually like the outro a lot more than the intro, by a long shot, and that's because of all the explanations I gave out before.
after a few months, I cannot recall anything about the opening or ending theme. I have no idea.
That's you know what? I was trying to ask something, but never mind. I was
Yeah?
gonna ask if you had the memory of a goldfish,
bruh.
but never mind. Go ahead. So regarding the intro, I'll be honest when I say it did. Honestly, I think Metroid's outro should have been the intro instead because that was too cheery for the show's atmosphere,
Mhm.
especially with how grimdark the show is.
You
Well,
forget
Then
something.
again,
it's kind of the show's kind of trying to be grim, dark, bright, where
yep.
like it's it like on the face of it, it's very bright and colorful and cheerful, and then it's
wait,
grim, dark it's when you get into the meat of it.
yeah, it looks. It looks.
It's sort of like if you took Berserk and you decorated it with flowers and rainbows.
I mean, it reminds me of a lot of elements, like at least like what we're saying, like Elvenlied, and what's the other one?
Definitely,
Mokuno
Urban.
Magic. Yeah,
Yeah, I was gonna say that one, the Code Magica,
yeah.
definitely that.
I was gonna say like that same kind of thing. Danganronpa, like same. It's got that same element. I just think this anime does it a little bit better. Where it like
It's
balances
yeah.
them a little bit better
It's
than
straight
most.
up. It straight up fools you into thinking that it's going to be some random
RJ,
bullshit.
please mute your mic if you're gonna do that.
No, I'm having interference. Sorry about that.
All right, so here's the thing. That's how they get you.
Mm-hmm.
I was
Mean
gonna
Abyss
say
is supposed
something here. Hold up, Lewis. I was gonna say
Go ahead.
best way I can describe it. I'm sure you guys have heard the term bloomer, somebody who's overtly optimistic even when everything's on fire.
Yeah.
But when you said Berserk, but with cheery, that works. But what I was gonna say before you said that was, it's like you grab a bunch of bloomers into the world. I mean, Berserk. I have to say Berserk in the world of Berserk, and the entire time they're trying to convince themselves everything's going to be fine as they enter the ethereal plane.
Yeah. Nothing is ever fine in Berserk, but that's a different topic.
Oh man, and then some. Madoka is like this, but it said that Madoka is basically.
Berserk
Uh,
is worse.
yeah, I was gonna say in the sense that I actually people are gonna shrug it off as this is some garbage ass moist shit. How
No,
the fuck?
nobody gets raped in Madoka.
Oh, you know
No,
what's funny
Yeah,
is
I forgot that that's how this entire season starts. It's like, all right, we're on a ship and rape, and it's just like rape, 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 and it's like, whoa, like that's a that's an opening.
I was-
I was gonna say in Berserk, which is funny because this fits this show too. Even the people that you think are good guys aren't good guys, and I'm not just talking about Bone Druid. I'm talking about the village. They walk into the village, and they're like, "Oh, these people are kind of chill." It turns out they're not chill at all. The entire foundation of their village is built off of being disgusting parasites. Like,
Well,
Wasu, yeah,
maybe in another video or something I'll get into it, but I have a few bones to pick with the way with Berserk's philosophy. But
well, yeah, no, you're right about that. I'm talking about like Mogus or Mogdus, I think, Magnus or something. Yeah, it's like because you expect a holy man to be good, but then he's basically so twisted he momentarily becomes
yeah,
an apostle.
it's very it's very it's very based and Reddit pilled. Um. Anyway, so back to I guess we'll move on to the characters because there isn't too much to say about the sound and music.
I just need to say I'm surprised Bone Druid didn't just experiment
So
on the
what?
goddamn villagers.
So we'll talk about some of the characters that didn't appear in season 1 and were introduced in season 2. So let's talk about Vueko or
Bueko.
Vueko.
Yeah, her full name is Buero Eruka, but we'll call her Bueko for the sake of the show.
Well, you can take over pronouncing that because I'm not
Yeah.
going to try it again.
Hi, Hirohei. I got you.
Um,
Sorry, I kid. Okay, go ahead, man.
honestly, she's my favorite character for this season. She's absolutely incredible. Um, she was very nice going into it, and and all the trauma just that she goes through like kind of
Oh,
turns
the
her
beginning.
into like this weird shy hermit that's just really oddly likable.
Weka was easily one of the most helpful characters in that season, and that's considering her background, considering that she knows Irum Yui, she's actually basically her adopted mother. Well, she actually adopts Irum Yui when she was a human, and she has taken a role of being a mother to all the kids that all the creatures that were lost. All the creatures from the balancing are basically the souls of all the dead children that Irum Yui lost, and
Yeah,
Bueko was tirelessly giving them all a name and taking care of them.
We're
yeah,
talking about the chick who became the foundation of the village, right?
yep,
No, yeah. Well, like her adopted mother, but in the case of Bueko, well,
I mean, she did. That's why I called the
she
villagers a bunch of parasites.
she's also the only adult female that you see naked, and that's a big plus for me.
yeah. Yeah, that really. What else am I gonna say? Well, considering that, well, she's on the sex level. Well, let's just say that she doesn't return her form for very long.
Well, yeah, but during that time, she is definitely best girl.
Oh yeah. Although then again, all right. She looks like she was she you know what this shit reminds me of? She basically was fighting for some place to belong. Yeah, basically, since she was also an orphan, and well, unfortunately, she's also the catalyst of all the shit that happens in the end in the series.
I was gonna say, is she the catalyst, or are the people that put her in the situation the catalyst?
I'd say the people. I'd say the people that put her in this situation are the catalysts unintentionally. It's the little girl, and I gotta look through the characters again to see the dude, but the guy who like led the
Masukian.
expedition. Um, they're more the catalysts.
They all drank the water, right? That's part of why.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wasukian, the one of the three sages, the guy with the red and white mask. We'll talk about that motherfucker later.
So goddamn morbid though. Like that world. Like I'm so knock on wood. I'm so glad we don't live in that world because it's like, motherfucker. Even water isn't safe. I'm sure even if they heated the water with fire, it probably still
No,
wouldn't be safe.
they
'cause
did. So if fuck, I can't remember the exact thing. It was dripping. The water in that basin was dripping down out of a decaying animal that turned to stone, and then the bacteria that was causing it to turn the stone was then infusing itself with the water, and it was like closer to a like a
The pseudo water.
yeah, like it was actually like a parasite inside of it, like
No, I'm saying like even if they heated the water,
no,
would
they did.
would it
They
still?
did.
Yeah,
Even then,
but it's still there.
Yeah.
you are fucked because the pseudo
Yeah,
water.
that's what I was saying. I'm saying like we're lucky we don't live in that world because it's like even when they heated the water, it still infected them.
The
See,
water is literally a fucking parasite.
see,
It's
what I don't understand is they said that there was 3 other water sources that they might have been able to try, and I'd be like, at one point, do you just go like, "Fuck it, we're gonna try and go through like the melting hot area, like screw it, like we need something else."
Yeah. Now, let's talk about Wazukyan, because I think this guy is the embodiment of the phrase "the road to hell is paved with good intentions."
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and then
Because,
some.
like, every decision that he makes is made for the good of the party and the expedition and the good of the people that he is charged with leading, and that eventually leads him to committing some pretty horrible atrocities. And it's kind of sad because even when he's doing that, you can tell that he really does mean well.
Yeah. There's never an instance with him where you're like, you can sense malice or you can sense him being like, it's like I'm doing this for like, my own ploy. It's like you said, his entire dream is to go back into adventuring. He was doing the only thing that he found was safe to be able to save all of the people.
And you look at it and it's like, what choice does he even have?
Yeah. Like he's just trying to make the best out of the absolute worst situation ever. And
It,
like he's just trying to like bear through it, and I think that really shows the adventure mentality that needs to happen in that entire environment. Like any good adventure, any of like the white whistles would have done the exact same thing as what he did.
it really doesn't. It really doesn't help that the guy's group is called Ganja, which is a slang term for weed. The dude straight, but that's
But it's
that,
funny because
yeah.
ganja, the term itself is actually I don't know if it's Persian or if it's shared among the different Middle Eastern language. It means treasure. The group's name is Treasure. The irony.
Yeah, and they also call it the Suicide Squad.
Yeah. Like he could be doing like the worst thing ever, but he'll be doing it for like the most pure of reasons in his mind. Like like he'll cut up the disgusting deformed like abominations of like babies that what's her face is producing.
Irum Yui. But yeah.
Um and he's doing that because his motivation is to save the company from the
That-
disease that's like turning them to stone.
Mhm. And it's like those things are dying anyway, and it's like at first he was like just using the carcasses, and then more people were getting better, and he had to like use it quicker, and
And then we
then
got the
whenever
sacrifices.
yeah, and then like he tried to slow it down, and then he had to start just killing them right as they were born because he saw that the effects were going back if they didn't. Like it everything about that was so messed up.
Yeah,
But like
and what choice did he have?
yeah, and like I said,
Later,
if you're in the abyss, you make every single choice to survive, and the only goal is survive.
it's
Yeah,
the worry that
anything else?
his
Anything
choice
else is
was
naive.
yeah, Yeah, his choice was either do that or everyone dies.
Hmm.
So I think at heart, he really is a wonderful person,
Hmm.
and he was just forced by circumstance to do horrible things,
Yeah.
I like his
and he
attitude.
and he could he there was no situation where he could not do those horrible things and prevent people from dying.
I like it. I like the guy's attitude, but well, it's a weird area when you had to say I had to do what I did because it was either fight or flight, or in this case, fight or fucking die. Because
Hmm.
even the water was turning us into hideous, gruesome mutations,
Hmm.
and the only cure for it was literally the dead children of the girl that was with us.
I think the only really weird, fucked up thing he actually did was put the other like wishing stones in her. I think that was the only thing that like really crossed any lines. But like outside of that, like he did everything else like 100% to just save everyone.
So I got a question. The people that resulted from it, the villagers that Will and I are not
Hmm.
very fond of, are they the same people reincarnated, or
So
are they just?
so this is where like we would be talking about like it's like were they that bad? Some of them were the
Yep.
reincarnations. And then others were like either their children or like other creatures that like expanded in and then like grew into it.
These the people of the village over time, because of the rules of the village, became so degenerate that they could not be saved, and that's kind of why they deserved what they got.
They got
Whole new
corrupted.
it's a whole
Hmm.
new level of
Like
Sodom and
they,
Gomorrah, though. I mean, at least like Sodom and Gomorrah weren't doing cannibalism.
yeah, well, like at first they engaged in the cannibalism because it was the only way to survive, and then they engaged in it willingly,
Hmm.
and then they engaged in this economic system
Built on pain,
that was really terrible. And on
built on
top of
literal
that,
pain.
they lived in this child's body, because it like her body expands and becomes a place. It becomes like a giant building, and they lived off the suffering of this child. Even though they didn't even have to do it, they could have just continued on their adventure. They chose to like live off her suffering,
Hmm.
for like centuries.
Yeah, I mean her last child was literally born to kill her. And then
And
like
We
there was
can
that entire like body at the bottom, like that mass that was just all like the like her children that would never come to pass. Like yeah, like it was all just messed up.
we
yeah.
can
So let's talk about Belef. Balef.
oh Belaf. Oh you mean bony snake guy. One of the
I just
key
no, hold up.
members.
I needed to say something really quick, which
Yeah.
was, did you notice their entire economy was built on like essentially like this? I don't want to use the word cringe, but the reasoning was
Bartering.
very like fedora tipping, ANCAP, where it's like on crack. So it's like there has
Yeah.
to be suffering involved, like because they had it was like a hierarchy built into it, and if like if
Yeah.
your
It's not. it's almost like the suffering isn't just like a consequence of the world being imperfect, but instead the suffering is like actually like a good thing and justified.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
it's really eye for an eye with extra steps and 100 times more unhinged.
Well,
That's why I can
also,
compare it to Fedora because
well,
they'll say
okay,
they believe in fair shit, but then you hear them talk and it's just like, no, you just want to be Jabba the Hutt.
okay, no, let's actually think about it logically. The entire city and how that entire economy works is because the little girl was the city, like she was the structure. Whenever she probably created the rule that like if you like do an eye for an eye kind of thing, like that's how she was raised. It's like everything must be fair. So that's how it was. It wasn't just like a cringy like like
Oh no,
like
you're right.
ANCAP,
But do you
but it's
remember?
literally well no, it's
Ah,
literally a little girl's idea of like what is fair, right? It's a little
I
kid's
get, but
idea.
hold on. Yeah, true. But do you remember when they countered the clone of the squished girl, the one that like
Comedian's
cyborg?
clone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, like, why is that necessary? Why did that guy need to create a living being to feed off of? That's unnecessary. That's just like that is cringe to me. That's like top of the hut levels of cringe, where it's like I'm feeding on a living being because I can.
Everyone needed to eat. So they also talked
They
about
could have.
the hunt. Um yeah.
Let's talk about Bailoff because
Mhm.
we gotta do that. Bailoff is also Bailoff is potentially like an even better person. Um, I already forgot his name. But he Bailoff Bailoff is not as willing to comply with the immoral actions of his leader as his leader is. So he is he tries to resist it. He tries to distance himself from it, but inevitably complies anyway. Um,
Well,
despite
he's stuck with that situation.
yeah, he's sort of is stuck with being second in command to these sort of like injustices, and he's stuck trying to make the most out of that situation.
I
He didn't have much of a choice in the case of having to deal with Wasikian's ideas, and he just went with it because
Yeah,
he had no other choice. And he was slowly losing his humanity to the point he actually that comes as a spoiler, but I want to say that he does. He actually he doesn't become human anymore.
yeah. It is worth noting that eventually he is he's so far gone eventually that Nanachi can sell her soul to him, and he'll actually take her up on the bargain.
yeah. No, I feel like he felt like more of a villain while he was a monster, but he was also the first one that was like willing to fight to do the right thing. It was a really weird dynamic. His character didn't make a lot of sense to me. That's like the
He
one
lost it.
character where I was like
Well,
a little off.
his
Yeah,
humanity is what kept him. Yep.
like he like barely was like still in it, but like he's like, oh, I will still trade for a human child. Like it's so weird, like that he was like still had like all of these weird mentalities where it felt like if his character would have stayed true, he wouldn't have been bartering at all. Um,
Yeah, I think his character didn't stay true, but he kept on to just a thread of his humanity.
yeah,
And Wazu Kyan, uh, he did not.
yeah.
He eventually lost all of it,
Mm,
and because of that, like eventually, once everything was disrupted, he was uh, he was eventually willing to actually fight for what he thought was right.
yeah. I think we're going a little long on all this. Do we want to move on to
We
Fopta?
Yes,
Bob,
Fapita, we
yeah,
definitely do.
What kind of a name is that?
yeah.
It's a name that sounds very funny on the post on the meme culture of the internet. But
Yeah,
I recall it is. I recall the meaning of her name is
Princess of
this
the
is from the show.
Hollows.
Yes, yeah,
Yes.
Princess of the Hollows, Immortal Princess of the Hollows.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, it was
my
like
lord!
immortal and then princess. Yeah, and then they called her the Princess of the Hollows. Yeah, that's right.
Not just that, she's actually the final child of Idom Yui,
The only living
who
child. Yeah.
and the perfect one.
Hmm.
Like in comparison to all the other not a Hati, all the other hollows that came out of her.
yeah,
Like,
unlike any of the other characters we talked about, she is a denizen of the abyss, and because of that, she can actually ascend without any issues. So she's actually a lot more like Nanachi uh, than the other characters.
Hmm.
Um,
she's also absolutely fucking unhinged, especially when it comes to her revenge. She's so
uh,
adorable too, but holy shit!
yeah, her need for revenge on the village comes at a genetic level.
Hmm.
It's not just like something that's like in her mind. It's something that's in her genes.
Yeah, she was born to kill her mother.
Metal Gear Solid shit right there.
Yeah.
It's in our genes, brother.
Yeah. Now, she was. She's interesting. I really enjoyed that character in general. I thought that it was interesting of like what levels people were willing, like what levels they were willing to go to. It was interesting, like the fighting that they were doing. Just like the realizations that they were coming to throughout the entire thing. I really enjoyed like just the the design too, like the fact that she could rip herself apart, and then just heal like it was nothing. Their ability, like just everything about this character was just like screaming like, oh, this is gonna be the character that helps them like just destroy literally everything at the bottom. Like whatever is causing these curses, like I think this is the thing that kills it.
And then there's the fact that she looks cute and cuddly, but then you realize sooner or later what her intentions in, and that's when you know you fucked up.
What one of her intentions is to breed with Reg.
Oh my god. Oh
That was
yeah.
one of the
That
funniest scenes. Just like she's like, "Remember after I kill mom, we're going to breed. We're gonna have our own kids." And I was like, what kind of abomination would that be? Like a hollow
a cyborg.
and a cyborg? Yeah, like that would be that would
And
definitely be something that would take on the abyss.
Is
and then
Reg?
there's
I got a question. Is Reg a cyborg, or
No,
is he
he's
like a
a
species?
so from my understanding, he is a more intelligent like he's an android. Just straight up an android. But he's like closer to like what the Guardians are, but he has more cognition.
in the case of Faputa, we all know that she's still royalty, and as a whole, they still the village is still well. They had it coming, but they absolutely knew what was going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
and they just accepted it as fact.
Yep. They're like, yep,
And they
this is
decided to atone for their sins. Uh, Faputa straight up turns him into dinner.
yeah. And I mean, like, there was that realization where it was like, oh, like, um, it's like I came here to kill you all, but like now I just need your help, and your help is me eating you, and just everyone like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah,
We're okay.
it's like the balancing, but it's like the balancing, but they. Well, I mean, let's be honest here. It's their system of justice is actually interesting. The whole balancing thing,
Mm-hmm.
and considering that Fabuta didn't realize that Reg lost his memory, well, that was also
Yeah, she just could not get that grasp, and like he had a very like he didn't explain it. Like it's like, hey, like I lost my memory, I woke up, and I have no idea who I am. I don't know why I'm here. It's weird that you both name me the same name. Like I don't get what's going on. But like outside of that, like it's just he's completely
Josh.
clueless.
Josh, mind if I ask you something?
Yeah.
You watched the English dub, right?
Yes.
Was Cat Thomas as intense as Misaki Kuno? Because I watched the Japanese version, and Misaki,
Oh yeah, no, she was insane.
yeah,
Like
if you compare Cat to Misaki, I can also say that Misaki is she has that special childish tone because well, most of her roles are in fact children or well, most of her roles. Like, here's the thing: in one of the big games that she voices, I actually mean her, and basically she throws bombs at people, fucking explosives.
mm-hmm.
So so basically I get the same feeling whenever I watch Faputa, and I thought this is fucking Klee from Genshin, but straight up unhinged, and I fucking love it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Let's
just
I cannot
let's
really.
move
I have no
on.
idea how Genshin lore works.
no, just explain it's a comparison because she voices both characters.
mm-hmm.
She also voices. I mean, that's the thing. She also voices Irum Yui, who I think we should talk about Irum Yui. We already know Fabuta's.
We talked about
Yeah, we
all
did.
like the major characters that are introduced.
Yeah, and we've already like kind of like we
Mm.
nothing really changed for the main plot characters.
Yeah, Rico is still Rico.
Yeah, like
Nanachi has a development with Belaf.
mhm.
Um,
And then Reg like learned a little bit about himself. Like there wasn't really any real character development outside of like the whistle now can turn Reg white.
I guess we could talk about Maji Majikaki Majkaki Kaji Jai. Oh my god. These
Kaja.
Yeah, Kaja, yeah.
Kaja.
Yeah,
That's
Kaja.
not that is not how it's spelled. Not even close to how it's spelled.
Maji Kaja is what you're trying to say.
Maji Kaja.
Yeah.
No, but
There's no I to make the E sound. It's not there.
That's how the anime in the English dub said it was Majikaja.
Maji Kaja.
Yep.
So it's just Maji, but there's no I.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it. Oh
Yeah.
no, wait, there is an I. I just didn't see it.
It's so
May-
fucking hog.
I mean,
Maybe. Okay, I'm just drunk. All right. Anyway, Maji Kaja. Ignore all that. That didn't happen. And if you think it happened, I'm going to Minecraft you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I think he's a pretty significant character because he honestly he's kind of a plot device, or rather a an exposition device.
he's the guide
Yeah.
to the fixer, if you will,
Yeah.
to the system regarding Ilulu, which is the name of the village.
Yeah.
Oh, we just lost RJ.
Oh well. No, yeah, he kind of like guided
What?
around in and out, in and out. He the fact that he could transform like just kind of caught me off guard, like where he could be like multiple different forms. Wasn't he like also like a spirit inside the mechanism, not really like the mechanism himself? Like, it's just a weird character.
It'd be funnier if his transformations were done like Kamen Rider, where he like announces it.
Interesting
I-
enough,
I'm going to be real with you guys, especially you, Josh,
Yes.
because you brought this guy up.
Kidding.
RJ, can you stop that?
My
Anyway,
internet's acting up.
well, mute yourself while you do that. Anyway, because you said you brought him up as an example of why you like the CGI. I'm gonna bring this guy up as an example of why I hate the CGI. This guy, okay, he just looks like imagine the worst animatronics you've ever seen in a 70s movie. He looks 10 times worse than that. It is some of the most disgraceful CGI I've ever seen. It's like on par with the bear from what
Kamui.
yeah, it's really bad.
See, I liked how like it felt out of
Berserk
place.
bad.
By the way, I'm gonna send you a photo of what he's supposed to look like in the manga. It's unsettling.
That is very unsettling.
Yeah, like
It's-
that's the other reason.
10 times better. Put that on the screen on the stream. Put that on the stream. That's
Right.
10 times better than what he looks like in the anime.
Yeah, but like if you had that in the entire time while you're trying to make people like, it's like, oh, it's fine, he's fine.
Oh my
nothing's so
god, we
bad.
might have had to animate something.
No, but
Yo,
like
I gotta
it's
ask.
it's like way more unsettling. I don't think that.
Did any of you get
like it.
vibes from Berserk from the CGI?
2016 one that doesn't really exist.
I have not seen, the only Berserk I've watched was the original 90s one.
Good.
So
good.
I didn't
I
get
think
any of those vibes.
Given your hate for this, you would absolutely hate that. The newer
But
one is terrible.
But like that is what you just showed me is an incredibly good piece of art. And it's like absolutely beautiful. I mean, well, it's horrible and ugly, but it's beautiful.
I was gonna say that is disgusting. Why is it not? What the? Okay, hold on.
Oh, is it not letting you put it in OBS?
Transfer fit to screen. Okay, there we go. Got it. No, it was like it made it so big that it was like off the fucking screen. It was weird.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there we go. Now it's there. That is unsettling. And if like that was the first thing you saw in the village, I'd be like, yeah, I'm fucking terrified. This isn't okay. And then you compare that to like
Right.
happy, nice face of like what you got whenever it was in CGI form. It's like, yeah, like that like seems like something that you would trust. That
Oh yeah,
seems like
let
a
me
horror movie.
oh yes, please please lead me on your tour through Disneyland. Do you have a ride? You gonna take me to the Pirates of the Caribbean ride? Is that what's gonna happen? Yeah, I would have that response.
This is some deep movie shit regarding regarding the CGI form.
Yeah.
In comparison, to the point, it's a downgrade even.
Oh, it's
He's
definitely a downgrade.
basically the season's designated tractor.
Yep.
He just like he just it's kind of like a hay ride. You ever go on a hay ride?
Yeah.
He brings you he brings you on a tour of the city on of the village on his back, and he tells you all about it.
The
It's just like a hayride.
the
It's very fitting with the show. It's the contrast between the unsettling world and his hayride was very needed.
honestly, the ones I've ridden to were more like bulls than horses in comparison. But I get what we're talking about. Majikacha is basically the tour guide and the tour guide vehicle itself.
Mhm.
So I'm reading a wiki here, and it says here that the outside body is actually artificial. Majikacha's real body is actually gaseous.
Yeah.
And it's contained within a sack. So Ilublu, this guy is basically Ilublu's fixer as well as
Yeah. Whenever I'm not gonna get into like what happens at the end to end. But like you get to see his actual form at the end. Whenever he's tired out.
Yeah.
since we went with the
So,
character.
what do you guys think of him as a character, though?
See,
Honestly, go ahead. Sorry.
I think that he was like the embodiment of like what the villagers were there. It was like this like slightly curious, cared more about like the wealth and like would just do anything according to like, oh, you paid me, I will do it. And it was like he was helping them out at the beginning just so that he could get information and see like what their worth is. He only cared about value.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as with every villager in there. So
And he,
I'm not doing it
Jeez,
for free.
capitalism.
and
I'm
he
not
had a
doing it
skewed
for free.
view on what the word value means.
Mm-hmm.
Like the
All right.
villagers.
So since we already focused too much on the characters, can we talk about the plot and then we can do the
Yeah,
story?
definitely. I wanted to do that a little while ago, but
Yeah.
we had to at least bring him up.
Yeah.
So
All right. I'll just kick off the plot. I fucking love this show. Like, it's so out there and like ridiculously like grotesque and messed up. Like, just the the wave from like going from I think we pretty much touched on all the plot really with the characters, where it was just we get point A of this like weird settlement happens. It creates this village. The
well,
main characters are in
group
there
of,
and don't know what's going on.
so a group long before the main characters show up, a group of people that were outcasts from their own society came to the island where the abyss is and began to explore it and learn about the curse of the abyss. And they descended to the sixth layer, and they committed the atrocities their guide was the mother of the village, and she was their guide because they believed that she wouldn't be able to have children like the other primitives that lived on the island believed that she couldn't have children. So they sent her down the abyss with them.
And she could also speak the language. So
Mhm.
she
And
was one
then
of
she makes the wish upon the MacGuffin to have children, and of course it's like it grants wishes like a genie grants wishes. So it's like, yeah, technically you're having children, but it's actually horrible and fucked up.
the cradle of desire, or the egg.
So that's what ends up happening, and it
And then shit happens when it becomes part of Irumyui.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, we've been talking about the plot the whole time. I guess we basically couldn't help it
Yeah.
because the plot is so
Tied into the characters.
intertwined with the characters. Yeah, it's almost even intertwined with the visuals in such a way that it's hard to talk about the visuals without talking about
Yeah,
the plot.
Just, everything about this, like, I think like plot wise is like done so well where like I said, this is the best example of a show that makes you like visually excited, wanting more, and then like you know that something bad's gonna happen. You know that like there's these really fucked up turns the entire time, but it leads you on the entire time that there's hope. There's
Yeah.
never a moment where you're just sitting here like, oh, like all hope is gone. No, it's always like, oh, they're gonna be fine. They're gonna figure this one out. No, I mean they do, but like they don't. But
Yeah,
No, it's terrible.
it's got that heart throbbing adventure
mhm.
kind of thing going for it, if you know what that means.
I'm going to add something. Some of their successes are a lot like the successes in the show Venture Brothers. The creators of Venture Brothers said it best. It's success through failure. It's
Mhm.
accidental success.
Yeah, like,
Well, their successes, I mean, their successes are sort of failures, where like their successes are just them like barely surviving.
At the right place at the right time.
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean like that's a lot of the theme of the show, but like so many other shows have done it and like tried to do it, and I think this just does it better than most, and I think that that's really cool.
Yeah. And it really does draw you in with the idea that like things like just this like lingering shred of hope that things are going to go well,
Okay,
and it rug pulls.
the entire premise of the show, and just like this basically should just sum up the entire plot right here. They are going to the seventh layer to die because that's what's on the seventh layer. If you rise back up, you're dead. There's no chance of living. You're at the bottom of this cursed area. There's no way back up. There's no hope. They are going in knowing they're going to die. And that's it. And that's the theme, is like they're going into the worst situation knowing what the outcome is, and they're still going towards it. And that's just, yeah.
Oh, it's
You are
Eh,
fucked.
I mean, I think
Also,
we
there
might
might be a
have,
mom at the bottom.
yeah, I think we might have brought this up when we talked about season 1,
Mhm.
but it really is it really is the sort of Faustian drive uh, displayed in its rawest form.
Mhm.
Oh, the
It
choice.
it it is it is like Captain Aham finally catching his white whale and being dragged to the depths of the ocean with him.
Mhm.
Oh man,
Oh,
It's
don't
motherfucker.
forget one really important detail. What you just said. Captain Ahab was willing to drag everyone else with him. He
yeah,
gave zero shits about the people around him, and that fits perfectly.
yeah,
Like, he just
and,
reality
and
his
it's
reality
like
was different from theirs.
and it's like Faust being dragged into hell in the in what's it called?
The novel.
What's that? I think the play's called Faust. It's actually named after
Yeah.
him.
Well, it's Faust being trapped or dragged into hell uh, in exchange. That's the word I was looking for. Some reason I couldn't remember the fucking word
Faustian
exchange.
deal.
Uh, for for uh, for infinite knowledge. You know, it's that kind of thing.
Who would Mephisto be in this case?
I don't know.
Would it be the Cradle, or would it be like?
You'll I don't know. You'll have to figure that out. But
And then
but
um, I had to read that guy, but I had to bring out the monsters that entered Ilulu. Hold up. What's the name of this place? Sorry, I'm
Illuminate.
mispronouncing it.
Yeah. Fuck.
Ilublu.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. According to the Japanese term, it's Iruburu,
Mhm.
but it says here it's Ilblu. But yeah, either way, when the monsters start entering the village, that's when shit goes down. That's when
Mhm.
it all goes down, and especially the big dragon-looking horse motherfuckers that start killing the villagers. Okay, so in the case of the village, the lore, the origin of the village, the fact that you actually makes the wish, and then she doesn't know what the hell she tried to do with that wish, but she couldn't.
like the lore of the village is sort of it's sort of like the creation of Sodom.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's just this city. It's just this village just created on sin that like has to that like eventually has to be destroyed because
It's an
because the
abomination.
yeah because it's an abomination. The the sin is so ingrained in the village that that like you can't not destroy it.
Also,
it,
don't forget, it defies the rationality of both the outside world and the abyss itself. Neither world wants it.
Yeah.
I honestly think the balancing is a bit like divine retribution if you absolutely fucked up like Ma did when she squeezed Minya. That little bunny thing that Rico has.
You know,
Eh,
it's worth noting, like when we think about the village that way, it was made up of people that were rejected from their own culture. So perhaps they were all doomed before they even set foot on the ship that sailed them to the island where the abyss awaited.
They had nowhere else to go. And in the case of people like Belaf, well, they were tortured too. Like Belaf was not in the same way as Bueco, but rather that scar on his face. That was a part of a torture. That was a part of a torture. In the case of Bueco, she basically gets raw dogged by what looks like your typical ugly bastard in a hentai,
Hmm.
and that's how else am I gonna say that? In the case of Irumyui, not being able to bear children lacks in comparison, but her punishment was a lot harder. If you consider the fact that
Had to keep
she
birthing
kept,
children that would die.
yeah, she has to keep birthing perpetually as a result of her wish. You're pretty much a living on a hole at this point. And
No,
then,
it's worse.
Yeah.
See,
no,
see,
no,
hold up. And on a whole, the way
go ahead.
what you just it's not even that. It's worse than that. You're a hive for a bunch of things that are spawning out of you. That's not the same as sex.
Hmm.
It's worse. It's like being infected by something, and the beings are of magical origin, so it's even more horrifying. It's like these metaphysical parasites are spawning out of you nonstop, and you've
It,
ceased to be your previous self. It's hell. It's worse than being the town bicycle.
Yeah. So let's I think it's about time to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Yep.
We didn't have too much to say about the plot. We had a little bit of philosophical talk, but the reality is like anything plot wise,
It was tied
like unless
together so well.
yeah, and unless something was egregiously nonsensical, it was going to follow pretty well from our last podcast about it.
Hmm.
Um, so let's give our final thoughts and ratings.
All right. I always
Such
kick
a
it off.
shame that the person who recommended the show didn't show up.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. Um. Like, I love this show. The more I was thinking about it, like the more I was like diving into like what I actually want to watch anime for, and like what is entertaining to me and what drives me to keep going. Um. And I've seen so much bad anime. I'm watching like all the mainstream ones. I've seen all the like good ones, and like it's there's so many good ones out now. Um, that like there is no excuse for bad ones to exist and get attention, and good ones not to be seen. Um,
Yep.
it I remember I was talking about like how it sucks this is sitting behind the H dive wall, and how people are not getting access to it because holy shit, this is actually a really good anime, and this should be an example of what people should be watching. This should be setting the bar. And then I was thinking, I was like, where would I put it in my own personal placements?
I like this as much
It's
as I like Doro Hetero,
Don't
so I
interrupt him,
completely get you.
please.
yeah, but what I was gonna say was this is probably in my top 10 now. Like it's so entertaining. It's something that I'm recommending that literally everyone like, hey, you like really dark, fucked up things? Watch this. Hey, you really like anime, but you're not sure like what to do next, and like I've been recommending this show, and whenever I'm recommending a show that speaks higher than anything else, I'm gonna give it a 9. It has a lot of flaws to it. The second season I don't think is as good as the first season, but like there's nothing bad that I can really say about this show. It's just it's solid all the way through.
All right, Striker.
I just want to say something real quick. Reason I interrupted was just to say, yeah, that's the thing with Doro Hedoro as well. It's the age wall. Like Doro Hedoro in this show caught my attention. I watched both of them nonstop. When a show when I do that, when I watch nonstop and I marathon it when I'm not supposed to, it means it's caught my attention. And like you said, it's a shame that this isn't blowing up as much as it should, because well written Lovecraftian horror, with all the influx of Lovecraftian stuff out there, well written Lovecraftian stuff, you know, usually is on a different league, and this is on that.
All right, what's your score?
Oh, I just say 9.5. I didn't mean to jump into the scoring, but yeah, 9.5 for me, Baron.
All right, Striker.
All right. This show has a massive. I commend the show for something that rarely happens. It managed to make me cry like a bitch 3 times consecutively. The first season, then there was the third movie, and now it ends up the second season also fucked me up emotionally. This is not a show you want to watch if you for the faint of heart. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of emotional things that happen to you when you're watching this show, especially when it comes to, well, considering all the shit you have seen. It's like you stepped out of a war zone, and you've gotten. I won't say I have PTSD. No, far from it. But this show is so well written, it will literally bring you to fucking tears. I rarely have I ever seen a show that does that to a man. I know I'm a bitch. I know I'm a fucking bitch. But I'll be honest when I say this is truly a piece to behold when it comes to the whole series as a whole, in its entirety regarding Made in Abyss. Everything about it, the music, the acting, the plot, everything. It's just what you just want more. You just need more. At this point, you need more of this. I honestly can't wait for the third season if it ever. I know. Josh told me there's a third season coming out. I'm definitely looking forward to this because this show truly became one of my all-time personal favorite, and for a good fucking reason. This show is a 9. I shit you not, 9, and it is truly one of the darkest and most unhinged experiences you will ever see in animated form. It is something else entirely. In the case of Made in Abyss, and the second season, rarely have we ever dealt with a bad season. Like we've been dealing with more bad seasons than good seasons. But this, I'll be honest with you, it stays with you. It stays with you to the end. It's very much. It leaves you speechless at times. I can't even come up with anything else other than the shit I'm talking out of my ass.
Mm.
So, Will, if you may.
So, I mean, Josh was talking about like why I watch anime in the first place, and one of the reasons I watched anime in the first place is because it was, especially during like the 80s and 90s, and like even up until today, you still see some of it, but I'm gonna say it's not quite as good. Is like you get this thing where the show is just so like out there and creative that you couldn't possibly like imagine coming up with something like that yourself. And it's not just like, wow, look at the show's weird premise. Like a lot of shows have, a lot of animes have that, where it's just like, wow, look at the show's weird premise. But it's like actually like incredible to the point where you just want to like look at the author and like pick their brain. And that's really what this show is. You know, it really is this incredible world. It has some incredible people in it, and you know, I've been bitching about the animation, but I always bitch about animation. I always bitch about CGI, because I think that it's always necessary to do so, and that and I'm not going to stop bitching about CGI until I stop seeing CGI.
Well, good luck on that aspect. It ain't gonna.
Yeah, you know, well, you know, it's like being the elves in Middle Earth fighting the long defeat. But anyway, but you know, I think I gave the show a 10 out of 10 last time, and really my issues with the animation are nitpicks. Maybe it could have used better music, or maybe I just haven't listened to the music enough. I probably should have gone back and looked at it sometime this month. So that's neither here nor there. I'll just give it a 10 out of 10. I'll like it was fucking fantastic. So you know, my score stands from the last time we reviewed this show,
All
or the when we reviewed the first season.
What's your score?
So the split between us is a 9.37. The we'll just do the Mal because they have the second season. The other one's a cumulative. Has an 8.67. I mean, yeah, it's if you don't like horror, if you don't like gore, this is definitely not for you. But it's really fucking good. Just go watch it. Um, it's
It's an.
got us hooked. I
It's
think
not
we're all
just.
hooked.
Yeah, like as soon as the second season comes out, I'm going to be on it like flies on shit.
Yeah, it's it, we can't recommend this anime enough. Like I've been non-stop talking to people about it. I've been like
Like
throwing it down people's throats.
I only spent so much time bitching about the CGI because I think not because I think it makes the show bad, but because it would just be that much better if you had like really nice 2D animations instead of the CGI. But that's just a pet peeve of mine that I have for like all modern anime.
That's like if you're driving I'm on a car and all you say was this ain't shit. I want carburetors. I hate fuel injection so much.
Well, it's like if I was driving like a full size land yacht from the '70s and was like, man, Toyota Corollas kind of suck.
You know what? Personally, outside the road ones, yeah. And certain models like the GR, unfortunately, those things actually cost the ball. But yeah, never mind, never mind. This is not kind of.
Yep. All right. I think that
I'm
pretty
gonna
much
say
wraps it.
something.
Go ahead.
It's not related to the actual anime. It's the game. I wish the video game was more like the anime though, because that would have made it a lot more fun. Like I've seen the video game for it. It's not bad, but it's not as much as it could be like the show, full survival.
Yeah,
So
I think
so
it's
ba-
very hard to replicate the
Yep.
show.
so basically, they who was developing the game though?
I don't know.
Oh.
I've just seen gameplay of it, and I was like, this is technically made in Abyss, but it's not like
Yeah.
what I imagined it
let's
would be.
let's all sign off and
Yeah.
say goodbye real quick.
Agreed.
All right. Have a good rest of May. We'll see you hopefully at the end
Yeah.
of May.
Just in case anyone is wondering, I'm not going to be able to make it for the May podcast, and that's because I have way too much to do this month. So I don't have time to watch an anime.
All right.
So
do a
you
movie.
guys are gonna have to do the podcast without me this month.
All right.
Okay.
Cool. Well, signing out then.